The hospital hallway was a cathedral of quiet despair. The only sounds were the distant, muffled announcements and the rhythmic swish-thump of a floor buffer further down the hall. I, Kezia, sat anchored to a cold, vinyl-covered chair. My world reduced to the frosted glass door marked Aiku. The air smelled of antiseptic and dread. A scent that would be forever seared into my memory. 12 hours. It had been 12 hours since my world shattered. I found her on the kitchen floor of our childhood home, one hand clutching her chest, the other scrabbling weakly at the tiles. My vibrant, laughing Mama Effie reduced to a gasping, ashen ghost. The scream that tore from my throat didn't sound like my own. The 911 call was a blur of panic. The ambulance ride was a nightmare of silent prayers. And now, I waited, alone. My phone felt like a lead weight in my hand. I'd called my husband, Tomini, the moment they wheeled her away. Kez, make it quick. I'm up to my eyeballs in floral arrangements with Serafina, he'd said. His voice tight with impatience. Tomini, it's Mama. A heart attack. She's in the ICU. It's critical. A pause, then a sigh of profound inconvenience. Look, you know how Mom is about this wedding. It's her moment. Just handle it, okay? I'm sure the doctors have it under control. I'll call you later. The line went dead. Handle it. As if my mother's life was a minor logistical issue. An hour later, I tried again. No answer. I sent a text, my words a desperate, pleading paragraph. Read, 3:14 p.m. No reply. A cold knot tightened in my stomach. I scrolled to my mother-in-law's contact, Ms. Rowena, maybe as a mother herself. She would summon a shred of empathy. The phone was picked up on the first ring. Kezia, this had better be important. The wedding planner is driving me to distraction. Ms. Rowena, I'm so sorry to bother you, but it's Mama Effie. She's had a major heart attack. She's in the ICU. I really need Tomini here. The silence on the other end was icy. Then, her voice dripping with disdain. Are you being serious right now? You're calling with this drama? Tomini is right where he needs to be, supporting his family. His sister is getting married. As her sister-in-law, you should be here, not causing a scene. Don't be so spoiled, Kezia. Handle your mother yourself. Spoiled. The word was a physical blow. I was the CFO of a top-tier firm. The sprawling house Tomini and his family enjoyed was in my name, bought with the inheritance from my father. The luxury SUV Tomini drove, the allowance I transferred to Ms. Rowena every month. The entire extravagant wedding for Serafina, I was funding. All of it was mine. I had poured my salary, my bonuses, my very soul into providing for them, believing it would cement my place in their family, that it would somehow transmute into love. I had been so stupid. The night wore on, the fluorescent lights humming a mournful tune. I was a statue of grief, my expensive gray silk bonnet now a crumpled mess. A perfect mirror for my insides. Then, a vibration. A banking app notification. Automatic transfer, $2,000 to account Miss Rowena. I stared at the screen. My money flowing seamlessly into the account of the woman who had just told me not to be spoiled, while my mother fought for her life a few feet away. It was as if the universe itself was mocking me, and in that moment, something broke. Not with a shatter, but with a final, decisive snap. The well of patience I had drawn from for years was finally, irrevocably, dry. The hot tears of grief freezing into chips of ice behind my eyes. I didn't cry. I just sat there, the cold from the chair finally reaching my core for days. I was a ghost in the hospital. I went home only to shower, the silence of the big house screaming Taman's absence. I returned to my post, sleeping fitfully in the waiting chair, my phone now permanently on silent. Dozens of missed calls and a torrent of angry texts piled up from Tomini, Ms. Rowena, and Serafina. They weren't concerned about Mama Effie. They were furious their monthly stipend was late. I ignored them all. My focus was singular, my mother, on the third morning. Forcing myself to eat a dry bagel in the cafeteria, the final straw came. A long text from Tomini lit up my screen. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't an inquiry about my mother. Kezia, where the hell are you? Ignoring me and my mother? Stop this childish nonsense. I don't care what your problem is. Transfer $15,000 to my mother's account today. It's for the deposit on Serafina's new reception venue. The last one fell through. And the rest is for Mom's vacation to Turks and Caicos. She's stressed from the wedding planning and needs peace. Don't be stingy. This is about family honor. The money is for our future, too. If this wedding is canceled, where will we show our faces? Transfer it now. I'm waiting. I read it once, twice, a third time. Each word was a separate dagger. $15,000 for a vacation. While my mother was tethered to machines a few floors above. The audacity, the sheer unadulterated greed was breathtaking. A sound escaped me, a dry, rasping laugh that startled the couple at the next table. I laughed until tears streamed down my face, but they were tears of pure, undiluted rage. They saw me as a wallet, a compliant, emotionless bank vault. They thought I was too broken, too distracted to fight back. The laughter stopped as abruptly as it started. My face settled into a mask of cold determination. With fingers that didn't even tremble, I opened my banking app. I didn't go to my investment account where the $15,000 emergency fund sat. I went to my checking account, the one I used for groceries. Its balance already dented by the hospital deposits. I entered Taman's account number, a number I knew by heart from years of transferring his allowance, in the amount field. I typed $50.00. My finger hovered over the send button. This was the line. Once I crossed it, there was no going back. The obedient, people-pleasing Kezia would be left behind in this cafeteria. I pressed it. Transfer successful, then. I went to his message and typed my reply. This is for you to buy some minutes for your phone. Don't call me again. I hit send. The 2 blue check marks appeared instantly. The response was a volcanic eruption. My phone screen became a strobe light of incoming calls. Tamini, Mizroina, Serafina. I watched them flash and die, one after another, a satisfying symphony of their growing panic. I stood up, walked to a quiet corner by a window overlooking a sad little hospital garden, and opened my contacts. I found the name I needed, Attorney Sterling. Mr. Sterling, I said when he answered. My voice unnervingly calm. It's Kezia, I need your help. Kezia, my dear. It's early. Is everything all right? My mother is in the ICU. The news there is not good, but that's not why I'm calling. I am divorcing Tamini, and I need you to help me burn it all down. There was a beat of silence. Then a slow, deliberate, tell me everything, and I did. I laid out the financial abuse, the abandonment, the $15,000 text. I gave him instructions, my voice flat and steady. First, freeze every joint account. Every single one. Consider it done. Second, terminate all automatic transfers to Tamini, Mizroina, and Serafina. As of the second, easy. Third, the house on Royal Oak Drive. It's in my name, correct? Sole and separate property from before the marriage? 100%. Kezia, he has no claim. Good. I want you to list it for sale immediately. Contact the best realtor. I want it sold. He whistled softly. That's a decisive move. Are you sure? I have never been more sure of anything in my life. I've been housing a nest of vipers in my father's house. It's time to fumigate. And the cars? He asked, a hint of grim amusement in his tone. The SUV Tamini drives and the sedan Mizroina uses. Both leases are in my name. Payments auto-debited from my account. I'll make the call. The repo men can have them within 48 hours. Do it, I said. A cold smile touching my lips for the first time. Do it all. After hanging up with Mr. Sterling, a profound sense of clarity washed over me. The $15,000, Taman's demand for it felt like a sacred challenge. I couldn't just not send it. I had to use it to make a statement they would never forget. I remembered a conversation with my mother a year ago. She'd send me a link to the Children's Hope Foundation, an organization that covered medical bills for children with cancer from low-income families. If I ever come into any money, Kezia, I'd want to help these little angels, she'd written. Their prayers are so powerful. My mother, even in her modest life, thought of others. My in-laws, in their life of luxury funded by me, thought only of themselves. I opened the foundation's website. The donation page featured photos of brave, smiling children with bald heads from chemotherapy. My heart clenched, but it was a clean pain, a righteous one. This was it. This was the answer. I didn't hesitate. I logged into my investment account, liquidated $15,000 from my emergency fund, and went back to the donation page. I entered the amount. In the donor field, I didn't put my name. I typed, in the name of the recovery of Mama Effie. I clicked confirm. The transaction was instantaneous. A receipt popped into my email. I took a screenshot. Then I opened the Tomini Family Dynasty WhatsApp group, the forum where Ms. Rowena held court, bragging about her son's non-existent success and her daughter-in-law's generosity. The same group where Serafina's wedding plans were dissected daily. I didn't write a word. No explanation, no rant. I simply selected the screenshot of the $15,000 donation receipt to the Children's Hope Foundation and pressed send. The one gray checkmark appeared. Then, seconds later, it turned into two solid blue ticks. Read, I put my phone away, my work done. I could almost hear the silent, screeching meltdown happening on the other side of the city. The chaos began exactly as I imagined, but hearing about it from Mr. Sterling was deeply satisfying. Ms. Rowena and Serafina were at a high-end designer boutique, finalizing Serafina's reception gown. Ms. Rowena confidently handed over her platinum card for the $3,000 deposit. I'm sorry, ma'am. The card has been declined. Ridiculous. Try it again. The second card, a debit card linked to the account I funded, also failed. Insufficient funds. Panic set in. A call to Tomini confirmed the nightmare. His account was empty, too. The monthly allowances had vanished. Their financial lifeline had been severed. Serafina's phone rang. It was Cheyenne from Red Rose Events. Serafina, as the $15,000 deposit has not been received, your venue, catering, and all vendors are officially canceled. Furthermore, we've been contacted by a Mr. Sterling representing Ms. Kezia. She has formally withdrawn all financial backing. The date has already been sold to another client. Goodbye. Serafina's shriek of despair echoed through the boutique, earning them disgusted looks before they were politely but firmly asked to leave. The Children's Hope Foundation, in a beautiful act of cosmic timing, posted a glowing thank you on their social media, praising the anonymous donor who gave $15,000 in the name of Mama Effie's recovery. It was shared across their network. Taman's extended family, the same social circle Ms. Rowena tried so hard to impress, saw it. Their private messages were no longer of envy but of pity and scorn. You were begging for money for a party while your daughter-in-law was donating to sick children? Shameful, their reputation was in tatters. Blind with rage, the three of them descended on the hospital, intent on confronting me. They never made it past the lobby. Two security guards, acting on my explicit instructions, blocked their path. Mr. Tomini, Ms. Rowena, Ms. Serafina, you are specifically prohibited from visiting the patient or meeting with Ms. Kezia on hospital grounds. You are considered a disturbance to the patient's peace. The public humiliation was complete. Kicked out of a hospital, they drove home in a furious silence, only to find a for sale sign staked into their manicured lawn, and a representative from Mr. Sterling's firm waiting with a formal eviction notice. As they stood there, shell-shocked, a tow truck pulled up. The repo man, with a bored expression, repossessed Taman's SUV. They were left on the sidewalk, homeless and carless. As their neighbors watched from behind twitching curtains, they were forced into a cramped, dirty rental in a part of town they would have once sneered at. Tomini was fired from his job, a courtesy call from my company to his saw to that. Ms. Rowena, in a final crushing blow, discovered that the heirloom jewelry Tomini had bought her with my money was all high-quality fakes. She now sewed clothes for neighbors to survive. Serafina's fiancé, Trayvon, left her, his family suing them for the $5,000 wedding cancellation penalty. Through it all, I was at my mother's bedside. I told her about the donation, about the children praying for her. I held her hand and read her psalms. And a week after my world ended and began again, a miracle happened. Mama Effie's eyes fluttered open. She squeezed my hand. Her recovery was slow but steady. The day she was discharged, I was pushing her wheelchair through the lobby when a gaunt, disheveled man stepped in our path. It was Tomini. He smelled of stale sweat and despair. Kezia, he croaked, and then he did the unthinkable. He fell to his knees on the polished floor, sobbing. Forgive me. I was wrong. I've lost everything. My job, the house, the car. We're living in a hovel. Please, I beg you, withdraw the divorce. I'll be a better husband. I'll do anything. People stared. Cameras might have been out. I looked down at the man I once loved, the man who had abandoned me at the worst moment of my life. I felt nothing. Not anger, not hate. Just a vast, empty space where he used to be. He looked up, his eyes full of a desperate, pathetic hope. Kezia, please? Do you forgive me? I leaned down slightly, my voice calm and clear, carrying in the silent lobby. No, I said. Then I paused, looking him directly in his tear-filled eyes. And excuse me, who are you? The hope in his eyes shattered into a million pieces. I didn't wait for a response. I straightened up, smiled at my mother, and said, "Let's go home, Mama." I pushed her wheelchair right past him, through the automatic doors and into the sunlight. 6 months later, Mama Effie and I were returning from a tour of Europe, a trip far more luxurious than anything Ms. Rowena had ever dreamed of. I was now the CEO of my father's company, thriving. As my driver navigated the city, I glanced out the window and saw him, Tomini. He was hauling crates at a loading dock, his body thin and worn. He happened to look up and his eyes locked onto a giant digital billboard. It was my face, being honored as Philanthropist of the Year. I saw the recognition, the regret, the utter ruin in his face. I didn't feel joy. I felt peace. I had weathered the storm they created, and on the other side, I had found my rainbow. I had my mother, my integrity, and a life built on my own terms. And that was a victory sweeter than any revenge.